going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, gymnastics and bodyweight training, all that good stuff. My name's Rhys. I'm a personal trainer from the UK and I'm joined today with a co-host. I've got a nice guest for everyone to meet. His name's Cory Holtz. He's from the UK and he's much better at gymnastics than I am. Do you want to say hi, mate?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah.
I wish I was from the UK.
Nah, that's all right, mate. It's not like you got a bad accent. Nothing to be ashamed of. So I met Cory on Instagram, guys, just for you to give you a bit of an ins. And I just wanted an excuse to have a chat with him, really, and talk about his training. So I thought the best reason for that is to get him to share his knowledge with you. He's obviously very experienced. We're going to get into all that in just a second. Cory, do you want to let us know a bit about yourself, really, what you're up to? And
yeah, of course. So, I've been doing gymnastics my whole life. I love that sport. It really changed me mentally, physically, spiritually. I competed in my younger years up to level 2. The levels went down when I'm telling my age. Levels went down. And I just never stopped. I always just kept moving around and jumping and being happy and just celebrating life. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. No, that's good. So you basically have the total opposite experience with the gymnastics to what I do, like starting young, getting into it. I started when I was 24, so it's quite like the opposite end of the spectrum. And it really shows as well, like guys, check this guy out right now. Is at comike97 on Instagram. Just go check him out, and while you're listening to this, you can watch some videos and see exactly what we're talking about, because the dude's just immense. He's like a tumbling legend.
Man, listen, it's really just getting your angles right with flexibility and taking time out to do those stretches that you need to do. It's really important that you do that. And you kind of separate those stretching days with the strengthening days. You don't want to stretch a lot and then go and try to do your acrobatic skills. You're going to feel dangly and loose. But you do need to be flexible, and you do need to separate those days and just have some good, proper management in your schedule. That makes a difference.
Yeah. All right, so just a quick question then to interject, yeah? How good is your straddle? Like, can you do the splits or...?
Yes, I can, but it's really tough for me to get to that point. It took a lot of releasing in that area.
Yeah. Starting
with the sockets of your joint. That is just very painful to get going, especially if you're not young and 4 years old. There's many ways to achieve that. You could do a lot of stretches on the wall where you're just letting gravity do the work. You hold your legs up. Those things.
That's what I try quite a lot. Especially with wall supported handstands and stuff, because when you initially when I was trying them, my thighs, everything would be tense the whole time, and it's not until I got kind of comfortable holding it that I learned to relax my hips and just let your legs kind of go like this.
And it helps to wear pants and socks to slip a little bit, and it also helps to kind of just touch around that area. You'll feel like a band that needs to be released when you're in that. There's also ways to release that band through, roughing. It's a type of massage. And you kind of just...
What was that, sorry?
Roughing, I believe it's called. And you kind of just hold a certain part of your, the area that needs to be released. And you hold it for a minute or so. And you'll feel it go limp. There's certain areas of your body where that can help a lot. And one of them is in the pelvic area. You kind of just rub around in there. It really helps to release that tension that's there for your mobility.
Okay, yeah,
and
just
skills.
Feel those tense bits of your muscles and stuff like that, and help with your own kind of self-myofascial release.
Exactly, that's important. That is so important that you said that, because that's more important than anything. If that fascia is tight, then you might as well hang it up. So you got to get that loose first.
Yeah. So what do you do a lot of foam rolling?
You can do all the toe touches. Do all the toe touches you want. All the toe touches you want. What's that?
Do you do a lot of foam rolling and use a hard ball and stuff like that, or do you just tend to? Because I do a lot of acupressure. I've got this acupressure mat. And it's basically like a bed of nails, And it's pretty painful at first. It's a bit uncomfortable, but when you lie there for a while, because your weight's so well distributed over everything, it really helps like you get really hot lying there. Like I've fallen asleep on it, and it's literally like an Iron Maiden. Like it's like acupuncture, but just on a grand scale, and that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't really know a lot of people who've tried it.
Yeah, like if you can just get through that first couple minutes of pain, you kind of go in a different phase, and that's when it really starts to be effective, and it starts to kind of melt your muscles. So you are on point, sure.
Awesome, because
that helps a lot. Yeah, anything that's like poking or like pushing and it kind of hurts a little bit, I mean, it's probably going to help you. Just make sure you're not hitting like an organ or anything.
Yeah. So what about skills then? So when it comes to like your training, what kind of, or do you compete first? Do you do any competitions or any?
No, this really just for, like I said, just training and continuing on being the best that I can be. That's always something that I've always looked at in gymnastics. I've respected the Olympians, and I respected them in terms of just them trying to get the correct alignment. I mean, don't we all want that? I mean, that's really cool to see. And before any of the skills, it's really just hitting those angles, and also dynamic stretching, like learn how to do those kicks and having your legs straight and, your body in the correct position. A mirror helps. Front kicks, side kicks, and back kicks. Holding onto a bar. Front, side, and back in any type of situation is great. If you're holding on a bar, if you're not, if you're kind of using the TheraBands, front, side, and back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Front kick, the side kick, and the back kick. Get those hips, get that hip socket to start to swivel, because it's not just about stretching.
No.
You got to get that hip socket to start being able to go and to start to swivel.
Start opening out.
And there's many ways to do that. Think about it. You can lay on your back and take your legs and throw them around, and you could get a TheraBand and kind of move your hip and roll your socket in different positions. Getting that core socket, if you can get that to swivel, then that's going to open up avenues to so much power and so much technique. Squats, holding those, are they called Chinese? Are they Chinese squats? That's what I think they're called.
Deep squats.
They can do them great. They can go smoke a cigarette in a circle. And for an hour.
For an hour.
If you can get down and just hang out in that position, then you're ahead of the game.
It's like that's one thing that like I have that natural level of mobility anyway, so I've been able to like get good at doing like deep squats, like you say, where you're basically like a squatty potty type thing, innit? And you're like fully your heels are touching your ass essentially, aren't they? And your knees stick out up by your shoulders like that, and you can just fully monkey kind of position, sit down like that.
There you go.
Yes. When I first started doing it. Because I had a bit of knee trouble like growing up, I snapped my ACL, and so now I'm without one of them, which is quite handy.
Oh.
But what it's
how's that working out for you?
Yeah, it's fine. Like that happened when I used to play rugby, and it happened back then when I was like 16, and it just kept damaging it over and over again. And then my physio banned me from contact sports. So fast forward 5 years or so and start gymnastics.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know what? Since doing gymnastics, like learning like rotational, like twist kind of somersaults and stuff like that kind of scares me a little bit. But into a foam bit is totally fine. And what even doing them, like trying to land them and stuff like that, I haven't had any issue. Like I haven't felt like my knee is going to give. It hasn't felt weak or anything. But I work on my mobility. I work on the strength for all those muscles in my legs so that I can maintain the structure of the knee, obviously, which is quite important when you're missing an ACL.
And you're right. You're so right. Just keep it stable. And, don't twist too early on your twisting skills. Make sure go up first. And, you'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because you're doing the right thing. So,
There was another thing I wanted to ask you about, right? Which when you were talking about the legs, your front leg, side leg, back leg kicks, it reminded me, and I'm glad that's actually come up. In your handstands, right? When you do these in your videos, when you start into a handstand, you do this little 90-degree single leg kick. And I wanted to ask why you did it. I think it's to help you get that. I think you use it to help you get like your pivots down nice and neat and quick and precise. That's just what I can kind of imagine from how you use your leg for your momentum and stuff. But I wanted to actually ask you about it because, like, at first I was like, that's a bit strange. Like, why is he doing that kick thing? And then the more I've seen it, I thought, man, I want to learn what that kick thing's for. Because like, when I first saw you, I was like, oh yeah, this dude's really interesting. And now that I've just watched your videos, and I'm like, what is that? Like, what is that thing? And like when I first reached out to you, it was that comment. Right, guys, so go and check out this video. He does like it's like you do it like a flick but with a 180 into a handstand, and then it's straight away, as soon as you get into that handstand, you do another 180 pivot out, and like that whole movement is so like neat and perfect. When you're going on about your angles, like it's just effortless for you. And you know, it makes me a bit jealous, but like it's inspiring, and it really like I think, yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. Like I want to be able to do that. Like I'd want to develop that discipline. You know what I mean? It's like, so what do you use it for?
It's really just me channeling just the energy from the Most High. That's my totally honest assessment with it. Is when you add that purity aspect and just like that clarity and with your mind, you know, go into your workout with just trying to just be light. Don't go in so harsh and rough, because that's needed, but not the whole time. You're going to wear yourself out and burn yourself out. You want to make sure that you get each element of energy in your workout. You know, you want to get a smooth, soft side that deals with kind of just a slower movement. And then you want to get like, you know, once you warm up, you can get into different energies. So it's very important to hit different paces, tempos, and energies when you work out.
Which, just before we started recording, you were talking about when you were training to music and the importance of that for your training and how you can use it to stay disciplined. And it was just about keeping with the rhythm, wasn't it? So you've got some kind of tempo behind you to help direct your movements and give you something to work with and something to like dance to, essentially, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just bring some energy into the whole scene, and it makes you want to do another repetition.
Yeah,
A different part of the song means, you know, do the repetition fast, and then this part of the song means, you know, it just can be however you want to look at it. Music is also a part of that sacred geometry aspect. That there's rules to it, and there's structure to it, and there's musical theory.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the same idea with your body. You want to get that flow, the same type of flow. And it can be with any music. It can be with any type of music. I do recommend it having like a steady rhythm, but it can be any type.
All right. So what's your favorite workout tune right now then, Cory? Give us a little insight.
My favorite right now is that I like EDM.
Okay, yeah.
I like Moby, Loax, I believe his name is. I need to give him a shout out if you can. He got me pumped, man.
Yeah.
It gets me going. Reveal Radio is awesome. Get on that Reveal Radio.
Reveal Radio.
Give them some props, because they are talented musicians that are putting that pulse into your gymnastics and whatever workout you do.
I like garage. For a bit of gymnastics. I like the garage classics. You know what I mean? That's all good.
Yeah.
But for training, like separate from that, I like I like drum and bass, or like just something with loads of energy.
Yeah, totally.
Something to really kick you up the ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 1 second, real quick. 1 second.
No worries. Yeah, carry on.
I'm back after these messages. You hear me?
Yeah, I just ad-libbed it all. You missed it.
It's all good. That's what happens. You gotta, you know, if something comes up, like in a scale, for an example, if something's off, you gotta learn how to play it off and go back up straight.
Yeah.
So,
That's one thing I've been fighting with a lot with this. I've been doing this handstand challenge to try and get a minute handstand. And I've been like switching between this like press position, like the hollow body position, and the hollow back. And my hollow back is just terrible. And it's not because of like mobility necessarily, but just like confidence in flexing that way, because I'm not used to it. Like my bridge is good, but because I'm not used to it, when my feet are off the floor, it feels like I'm just going to break in half. So it's a bit nervous. But I'm getting to that point where I can like go kind of hollow back, pull it back into a straight position, go a bit to a press, like the hollow body position, and kind of leave the back. But like anything past 35 seconds is a challenge. Like a lot of a challenge. I even resorted, right, in one of these. I got to confess this. So I had to hit 38 seconds, right?
That's awesome, man. 38 seconds.
I got to 32, I got to 34, like, and it took like 10 minutes, and I'm pretty fatigued. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've just got to make this. So like about how I get to, I'm counting in my head. I'm like, I get to about 15 seconds, and I feel myself going, and I'm like, I'm not going. So I'm like, what can I do? I was like leaning too much, so I just start walking, moving my hands as much as I can, like to try and count them. I mean, it only lasted like eight more seconds. I didn't get it.
But so what? So you can move your hands, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so so you didn't break the law on that.
No, okay. I did move my hands. I was stepping around like this, trying to make up the time.
Okay, gotcha. We would always do that in gymnastics class. We'd always have those contests at the end, and who can hold the handstands in line. It really makes you strong.
Yeah.
Dips, maxing out on dips. How many dips can you max out on? How many reps? Oh man, pull ups. Even giants. Like how many giants can you do? That's just, man, that'll get you.
Giants are scary. I can't do giants. I can do it with if I'm tied on, but otherwise, like I've seen too many fail videos of people just flying off.
Well, you know what? If you can go to a gym and strap on and do those giants every once, that's all you need, buddy. Because all you want to do is just you're decompressing everything and you're pulling everything out into a straight body position. That's very good to go and do that sometimes. Go and put those straps on and do those giants, because it'll help your handstand.
Yeah.
It's that gravity pulling you apart. And it also helps you to hang on a bar all the time. Swing on monkey bars like kids. And let your arms almost like try to pull them out of socket almost. Like be that relaxed when you swing. And not to injure yourself, but you really want to extend in every way possible, because you're always fighting against gravity, and as soon as you start to compress, then it's going to affect your skill.
There you go. There's a pretty good tip. Hang around. I saw you doing like the front, not like a front lever when you were just hopping along the monkey bars. That was a pretty good little trick you had. Because it wasn't it wasn't stepping, obviously. It wasn't left right. It was like hopping like that. But I mean, you went the full length of those bars, didn't you? You did pretty good. Like, I wasn't shy.
Yeah.
I struggled to go from one P bar to the other, like underneath.
It's just practice, and it's really also it's building up these calluses.
Yeah.
My calluses are so hard. I don't even have grip. I don't use grips and anything, and I use like monkey bars. High bar and gymnastics, those have a bounce. I use straight up like TRX bars. My hands are so hard, so I can get up there and just swing around. So you want to get these calluses tough, and then that'll enable you to just do more skills. And just you can always swing on bars. There's no off days or on days with bars. You got to go back to when you were a kid at the park having a great time, because those when you were a kid, that's when you had the most energy.
Yeah. It's just about recreating that, really.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That kind of childlike play element into it. So you're doing it because you're engaged in it, rather than forcing yourself, building up the willpower to just turn up for something.
Exactly. And you go into the workout with a different mindset. If you set it up the way you want to set up, it's good to just get into a gym and have a setup, or even if it's around your house, where you're constantly moving for at least, it depends on the pace, but at least 20 minutes of constant movement. And it's hanging and it's swinging and it's handstands and it's a bridge, 10 bridge push-ups, and then it's doing a headstand, and then it's doing a back bend. And if you can't do that, that's fine. You just do your variation.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can do something for 20 minutes, like dealing with like gymnastic skills and gymnastic techniques and elements, and put a few stretches in there for your recovery. Through stretches, hold it like a static stretch can be your recovery, not just standing there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So whenever you're
like, don't just catch your breath.
Catch your breath in a position, in a stretch position.
So what then would you say was your like, because I've got my own little favorite stretch, right? And it's not necessarily the best stretch, but it's one that I because of how I train, maybe, that it just really suits me. And it's that full side, like left bend, whole side of your body, oblique and lat stretch. And it is a beast. And that, right, I've got so, like, because that's the kind of thing you do in front of a mirror. Like, I've got really good at doing them, and I'm pointy and I'm straight and I'm like, bam, warm up, yeah, like with myself in the mirror, like I'm the boss.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what you like, and you can stick that in the middle of some of your sets, and you'll be surprised that when your body's warm, you'll go 6 inches further, and you'll go way further if you.
Sometimes I can get to like 90, and then sometimes I add the extra like 5 degrees or whatever, and I feel that like halfway through the workout, I'm like, yeah, look how far I can almost bend upside down.
That is awesome. And you know what? I am so glad we're talking. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad that we're talking about all these stretches right now, because that's really where it's all starting. We can talk about, oh, look at that cool flip, and oh my goodness. Well, did you hang on a bar? Did you try to do a bridge with your elbow straight and your knee straight? Locked out?
I can just about do that. You know what the problem is, right? Because I can get my legs straight, but because of like when I train at gymnastics, I've got my socks on. So as soon as I get straight and I'm like, yes, beast, then my feet start sliding, I start like flattening out. So.
I tell you what, okay, that's another thing that's so important. I'm so glad you mentioned it. There's segments of training, and there's a segment that deals with shoes, even the best are basketball shoes, or even like church shoes with the rubber sole, obviously. Shoes with a big sole with a big grip for your warm-up. You got to push out with those shoes on, and that slip shouldn't be in the picture at all.
Yeah. Okay,
and that deals with the dynamic stretches. You can even do kicks with your shoes on, adds a little weight to it to swing your leg up harder. Put shoes on and get on a hard surface or a rubber TRX floor and start doing dynamic movements with it, and push on the back of your heels with that grip, and use the back of your heels to sit solid on that floor with no slip. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Just like with your pistol squats, like you put drive in with your heels so that you're not on your toes all the time. You can really push in and root yourself.
That is really important, and that will help that stupid. Oh, don't you hate that when you have socks on and you want to push it, but you got to put your shoes on, and then you use a wall, or you can put the foam roller at the wall and push on the foam roller so it doesn't roll, and push up with your shoes on. You should have no problem at all. And you push up like it's your 1 rep max. You push up like it's your, what is this with the weight? So you hold it when you go out.
Your military press.
And it's that one, your max out. You better do your bridge like that and try to push your knees straight and elbow straight. And you got to push it out for at least 20 seconds. And you got to do at least 4 sets to see any improvement at all.
Awesome.
And that bridge is an important stretch.
Yeah. That's one that like you don't see people outside of this kind of scene really doing. Like you see like calisthenics and yoga people doing it, but when they don't have the same kind of discipline that like you were saying there with your arms straight, like your legs straight the whole time, like you're tight in, so it's all like shoulder mobility and back mobility up here. And
mobility. And also once you get that bridge, you're going to try to lay on your back and count to 3. 1, 2, 3. My arms are straight, my legs are straight, my knees are straight. Like we push up that fast. That's another element that you won't find in, like those other, like in yoga or Pilates, so just 1, 2, 3, snatch. And you're up in a bridge with your knees. And that's why you need those shoes too.
Yeah.
So that dynamic movement going up into things is important. It's not just, it is the final stretch at the top of the bridge, everything straight. But can you push up into it fast from your back on 3? That's the question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then can you do 10 of those in a row? 1, 2. Just, you can see it right now. I mean, you can see somebody doing that.
Yeah.
That's big time. And you got to make sure you're flexible enough and warmed up for that.
Yeah. Otherwise, shoulder injuries.
Yeah, and you got to make sure you're decompressed by hanging on the bars, and it's just all that. It's just got to create a routine with some common sense in it as well.
All right, yeah. Okay, so speaking of routines then, what does your average session look like? Because all I see is the highlights, I'm sure.
It depends. I listen to my body. I have no schedule or time restraint to be a certain way at a certain time. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. I wake up in the morning and I make sure I drink at least, 2 quarts of water or half a gallon of water.
Okay. But what about training? Sorry.
Okay. Well, to get up out of the bed and, just do a couple stretches in the morning so you don't have that tight morning feeling. And that's part of the training because you take it everywhere with you, kind of. Like you get out of the bed and you just do 2 minutes out of the bed or 3 minutes. Hang on the edge of it and do a bridge on the edge of your bed for like 2 or 3 minutes and just get rid of that morning tightness. You don't want that. You want to get rid of that fast. And then once you go to the gym and you start training, you'll feel a lot better. And you get in there with movement and dynamic movement, and you don't start stretching at the beginning. A lot of people do that. Start stretching. You don't want to do that at the beginning of a workout. Static stretches like that, no. You want to just jog and stuff. You're already flexible because you had your days where you had your stretching days. You're not trying to get flexible at the beginning of your workout.
Yeah.
You're trying to warm up at the beginning of your workout.
Yeah.
Does that make?
No, yeah, absolutely. Dynamic mobility, dynamic stretches to warm up, gets the blood pumping, gets that muscle elasticity kind of going. So you're moving around, but you're bringing in the movement patterns as well. So you start building in that discipline and that structure into your body. And then hardcore shit next.
There you go. And you could do some static stuff for like 15 seconds of just kind of just bending stuff into place, but nothing to improve your flexibility where you're holding something for a minute or two. You do that in the evening.
In the evenings.
And you dedicate a day to that, and it makes a big improvement. And because you're going to need recovery the day after too. Call it power stretching, where you have a partner and somebody's helping you. That helps a lot.
Help get that extra 3 degrees out of you.
So if you have a friend or something, you got a friend that is into stretching, then great. You are on the right track.
Yeah. If not, just find one.
Yeah, they're out there. It can be an old person that needs some help, and they can help you too. Or it can be somebody that's not into gymnastics that just wants to feel good. It doesn't matter. Just find somebody you can stretch with, because it makes a difference.
Your mum. Ask your mum to help you stretch if you're struggling that much.
Yeah.
She'll help you. She loves you.
If you really want to get those skills, then that's what you got to do. If you look at it as more like a kung fu aspect than anything else.
So, right, okay. So we got a little bit about mobility, a lot about discipline. What is the hardest skill that you have worked for, and like how difficult a process was that for you? Was it like just a handstand, or was it like a flick tumble, or like a, you know what I mean, like a 3-step trick or anything, or what did that look like for you?
That's a great question. I guess that answer would kind of depend on like the time frame of my gymnastics career. Right now, I'm really focusing on focusing on hard surface tumbling. That's something.
Yeah,
that's like deep. That's deep. I'll even admit that. I mean, doing stuff on hard floors, that is, something that you got to really be careful with, and got to make sure you're doing the right things to perform on there. But well, I'd say my hardest would be the full twist back fold on that hard floor. I mean, a spring floor, that's a whole different ballgame. I mean, it's trampoline, that's a whole different ballgame. But to do, flick flack full laid out on the floor, a hardwood floor, is something that I can do, but it's one of the most difficult skills that I can do.
Yeah,
and it just takes a lot of focus and concentration.
And a lot of punishment for your wrists, I imagine, as well. Like,
you gotta get your bones tough, like the boxers do. Or the kickboxers. They'll kick that bag thousands of times to get that calcified, that one area.
Yeah.
So it does take some time to get used to. But that's when you re-stretch it and re-bend it, and wrist stretches are so important. Knuckle stretches are important, especially with what I'm doing. So
you're not just your wrist then, but also
some pressure on it. Yes. But
so you're bending your fingers as well. Focus on your fingers and not just your wrist and your forearms and the mobility here, but actually.
Buddy. See, you get it, because you can find all the knuckles in your body. You got them here. You got your elbow. You got your knees. Your feet. You got to find those and make sure that they're opened up all the way. So if you once your hand starts to do this, I mean, you're done. Keep your knuckles hyper-extended. So make sure you're doing your knuckles too. Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Sure.
So that's a really good tip as well. That's something that, like, because you were saying earlier about where you're keeping your bones loose and about squeezing and holding round bits of your joints. I've actually had from training on the pommel and combining that with like flicks, I actually had like a really bad pain right in the middle of my hand, like just straight through the middle. It was like someone had karate chopped it or something, and it was like that, and it was just the bones. And I was talking to I could see a chiropractor, and he was like, "Oh, let's have a look at my hand," and he kind of holds it, and he was doing exactly the same thing you were explaining there, where you kind of put a bit of pressure on, you find the bits of the bones, and then you just give them like a bit of a shake and a bit of a wiggle just to help them loosen up. And like, he pretty much fixed it straight away. It was really amazing, actually. But it was pretty powerful stuff. So chiropractors might also be experts on the mans.
Yeah, for sure. And that hold and release technique is just great. Where you kind of just hold, because that constant pounding, it tightens up your fascia here, and then that fascia is to help you from getting injured, but it's tight and it'll lock your hand up. You got to re-release that.
Yeah.
So,
that's what he was explaining, from where I was putting slamming my hands into the pommel on each side, like just repeatedly going round and round in a session, and then going to flicks where you're bending your hands right back like that, obviously to land onto your hands as you come over. And it was like those two combined together were just going bam, bam, beating it in, and eventually my bones are like, I hate you, Rhys.
Yeah, all that pounding, yeah. But some pounding is necessary, but not the pounding that injures your body, obviously. But you got to put some pressure on it to strengthen it.
Yeah.
And then you got to make sure you're getting the right minerals in your body to recover it, to reharden. And there's a whole nother avenue that, one should take in the nutritional route that's just dealing with minerals for your bones,
Mm.
electrical currents, and your reflexes. It's all important.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your, what do you take any supplements or anything like that? Or you do just natural, like real food kind of approach? Or what does your nutrition look like?
Real food kind of approach, whole food kind of approach, small portions approach where you keep your stomach small, but you get nutrition dense food.
Yeah.
Because you can take a pill this big and that can affect your whole body. You can take a pill that big and give you a lot of energy.
Mm.
That's not volume. So, you might want to stop thinking about volume so much and think about what's in the food, the concentration in the food. So dense packed foods would be sweet potato,
Nuts,
avocado,
cashews, my fetish.
Yeah, cashews, and then sometimes blending them up and making a smoothie out of them.
Oh yeah.
So nutrition dense is important. Another important one I can throw in there. I don't know if anybody will listen, but just in your local foraging out in the forest, find what's local and that's edible. Not mainly for the mineral content that you're lacking in conventional growing food. It could be pine needles, making a tea out of it.
Yeah.
It can be bamboo leaves. It could be maple leaves. Just make sure you're not killing yourself with poison ivy. Make it.
All we get is stingy nettles around here.
Dandelions. Just start picking something out there. What could be bark from a tree.
Yeah.
Make tea out of it. Sweeten it if you want, or just make a juice, blend it up and strain it. Get those minerals in from foraging from your local forest or your local backyard. That's not being sprayed chemicals.
Yeah. And you might catch a couple of magic mushrooms if you get the right time of year.
There you go.
That'd be all right.
The right time of year. Hey, the right time of year.
Just make sure you eat them at home.
Well, why? Why not outside?
Just for, first time as an accidental dosages, I was thinking.
Yeah.
If you're doing it intentionally, like go to the park, you know what I mean?
That's true. Put on your pizza.
Yeah. Well, look, Cory is getting on a bit, and so I'll probably have to cut this off in a sec and let you get on with your day.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we got to hang out and talk, and I'm hoping we can talk again soon. And I'm learning just as much from you as you're learning from me, and it's all about sharing and caring. And
yeah, absolutely. Well, I was going to pitch you on coming back like in a couple of weeks or something and having a little follow-up call and another chat about stuff and kind of go in depth in a couple more things if you're interested.
Of course, I would love that. And under one condition.
What's that?
If you start making some of that pine needle tea.
I'll send you some pictures. I'll put it on my stories on Instagram so everyone knows about it.
Yay! I'm slowly brainwashing you. Slowly. Yes.
Yeah. Hey man, like where I live, there's loads of like evergreen trees like that, like pine trees and stuff. So like I know that you get essential oil from pine trees is really good to help improving your mood and stuff like that. Which is why like walks in the forest can really improve your mood. Aside from just being out in nature, which is kind of fun, but like that's a particular little concentration, like a concentrate, that can have huge effects for you. So why not drink it? Do you know what I mean? Instant ecstasy. And
it'll show up in your skills. I promise.
I'll be extra pointy in the next couple of weeks. You'll see.
You're laughing. I'm serious.
No, I'm making a joke about it, but I don't dispute it at all. I agree. Well, listen, Cory, I'm going to sign out quickly, but it's been great having a chat. It's been great getting to know you. I hope everyone who's listening has actually heard what we've been on about, benefits, and puts into practice a lot of this mobility stuff that we've kind of covered over the last half hour, 40 minutes or so. It was really great having you on. And like I say, we'll organise it offline, but over the next couple of weeks or something, we'll organise another little catch-up and another little chat, because I've had fun. I don't know about you.
I had a blast, and whoever's watching and listening, hope you guys had a good time too. So
Anything else? Oh yeah, follow Cory at CoMike97.
Sure, go ahead.
And why Mike? Just out of interest.
My middle name.
Oh, right, okay. Cory Mike Holtz. Hunt him down at your local gym.
Ah, geez, I know, right? I try to stay humble as much as I can.
No, mate, you carry on, because I think it's awesome. So it's inspiring work. I just want to be at that level one day, so that'd be awesome.
You already are. I promise you, buddy. No, you really are, because you're saying everything that I'm saying.
All right, wicked. Mate, listen, have a good day, and I'll catch up with you on the DMs on Instagram, I guess.
All right, buddy. Peace. Good talking.
Yeah, have a good one, mate. See you later.
All right, peace out. Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that's it from me. If you want to give us a subscribe, find out more about our training and stuff, then go to morganlifting.com/podcast. Otherwise, check out Cory at CoMike97. He's honestly, you look at some of those videos and you will be dying to get out on the hard floor gymnastics. Yeah, that's really it. I'm kind of, it's really late where I am and I'm going to bed now, so guys, keep in touch with yourselves. Catch up with you in the next episode, which will be coming really soon. I'll speak to you then.